Back at the Los Caballeros Sports Village in Fountain Valley, California, it's the WPH Race for 8 stop number 1, Simple Green U.S. Open of Handball. My name is Dave Vincent, going up against, and I say that, John Bike, who's in the booth. Actually, the match is Mondo Ortiz going up against Nadia Alvarado, and hopefully it's not DV versus the Microwave, but
well, that's always an entertaining tussle as well.
Which one is going to win? The two victors in this game are Bike and Alvarado.
I think of us as a dream team, kind of. On the court and off the court, in the booth, out of the booth, at the buffet table.
It's we've done serious damage on multiple fronts.
1-0.
Mondo Ortiz is sometimes such a quick starter. He just jumps in there and just wants to go 100%.
Yeah, Nadia would be well served to, right from the start, try and slow the pace a little, but certainly that's not his plan A ever.
You know, John, you've seen this, you know, with all of these different players around, yeah, from the time that you started to now.
I don't know about you guys, but that ball seems to be lopsided.
But you've seen this a lot where there's a legend in a certain area, and when they get beat by a young guy, the young guy just looks at it like it's the best thing that's ever possibly happened, you know. But when it comes to Nadia Alvarado, these people, anyone that beats him really cherishes, you know, that like he's, you know how good a player is when they look up to, you know, and they defeat Nadia Alvarado. I mean, Marcos Chavez is Nadia's age, and he defeated him for the first time at a tournament in Houston, or, you know, whenever that tournament was, you know, in the last season that we had in the Race for 8. And Marcos said that's the greatest win he's ever had in his life, you know.
Yeah, well, that's quite a compliment to Nadia, to what, and like you were saying,
I got you one.
The respect accorded to him.
I've seen other players, you know, get defeated, and it was like, yeah, you know, I took him down. But when it comes to Nadia, these guys really look up to him. I mean, when Mondo Ortiz almost cried when he beat Nadia Alvarado for the first time, you know? What is it about the mystique of Nadia Alvarado that brings that out? I mean, does he just not get the national, you know, press of being one of the greater players that's ever played this game?
I think he's gotten his due respect, certainly from anyone who's ever been in the court with him. I don't. So as I say, he definitely has got the respect he deserves.
Mando's ball's
I think what happens from the player standpoint, when they go up against Nadia, they go, oh my gosh, this guy is really an amazing player. And fans around the world might not know what that means until you get on the court and play against him. And then you realize that if you ever do beat him, that means that you must be as good as he is on that day. And
the added thing is they also are aware that they're playing a 41-year-old guy. There's a part of them saying, I can't lose to a 41-year-old, even though they know from any logical standpoint they're playing a top 4 player in the world. It's a strange situation.
All right.
One of the most consistent handball players in the game's history is Nadia Alvarado Jr. Consistently making it, certainly to the quarters, but always to the semifinals.
But after that love fest, I do have to point out he's got to be considered the underdog in this match.
Yeah, even though he's got one lost lifetime
3-0
in tournament play to Mondo, he's the underdog.
Well, I was discussing with David Fink currently in the backcourts in the 9-16 playoff. He maintains that Nadia absolutely has to come in first match fresh, and at that stage he's a top 4 player.
0 serves 3.
But the second game Montillo gave him yesterday, that's what a 41-year-old would have trouble recovering from.
Side out.
He's clearly in great shape, but it's just that's one aspect of father time that no one saw yet. Recovery time.
Score here is 3-0. One of the strange things about father time, you can be in great shape, but you still can lose a first step.
Yeah, and that's the other thing I was going to mention. The other thing, you just can't train, and he's probably training as hard as any American player anyway right now. A couple of those Irish guys look like they're totally on it. But Nadia from the American side, training as hard as anyone.
0 serves 3.
You can't really train for that decrease in reaction time, like you were saying, that first step. That's what I noticed when I was playing players around this age, when I was a young guy. They're probably more skilled than I was, but they just couldn't react quite as well as they used to.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that I wonder if there's drills or any techniques that you can have that can make
serve 0.
Father Time not catch up when it comes to that first step loss.
Yeah, they're doing everything they can agility-wise. It's just the brain firing to the body. That's just inevitable. Just
Second serve.
if there's a way to fix that, I haven't heard about it yet.
Well, back to that losing the first step thing. Yeah, down in Tucson when I was playing Luis Moreno regularly, and you can see it happening when it's happening. I just can't get out of the box. But I see guys like Sean Lenning just walk over and take one step and hit a kill shot. I go, why in the world is this so hard for me? And it's, you know, when you're getting up there in age, you start to say to yourself, I'm going to start crying because I know what I need to do, and I just know I just can't get over there fast enough.
Or just retire.
Sorry.
Took me a few years, but that's what I've.
It's a lot easier to retire.
Just quit.
Not sure if you saw it.
I thought you run into him instead of going to the ball.
Sorry, we missed an exciting play here, though.
Yeah, there was a lot of cross-play between the two and has been since this started. Now you see Noddy chirping with Danny Bell. Do you agree with what Noddy's saying here about not being able to come back for that ball?
See, I was staring in your eyes during that exchange.
Well, that's what I like about you.
Not doing my job.
Short.
No, that was your job, son.
It's bad.
Second serve. Side out.
Ball don't lie. Apparently, the argument was valid.
I felt that there was a hinder
0
2 shots prior to the one that Noddy was complaining about. But you knew somebody was going to complain about one.
Point.
If not Noddy, it was going to be Mondo. Both play really close to each other there in that particular rally. Mondo gets really low when he is returning your serve, and maybe that's part of that first step thing. You get into maybe a mentality of, I'm going to pounce on the very first tendency I see. Look how Mondo gets in there.
Yeah, you're going to be playing Noddy's serve from below the knee for sure, so it's good to already be down there.
Mondo Ortiz had that huge upset, and that's that familiar shot from Noddy. You've seen that over the years, John, into that right corner. How is that ball coming out of his hand?
I believe it's like an overhand, but also coming over it like a screwball.
2 serves 5.
It's not an easy shot to execute. Noddy seems to have in practice matches, he seems to do it a lot more.
Yeah, he's still working on it, but brings it to the big games too now.
5 serves 2.
Boy, that's a great serve. Double bounce back wall. Those at home that want to practice something that's going to give you a bunch of free points, try to see if you can make the ball double bounce before the back wall.
Short.
And one of the keys, John, is to let it touch a sidewall before it gets to that back wall so it slows the ball down. Sometimes, you know, you try for that 2 bouncer and you end up hitting a setup. If you can touch a side wall, it'll slow it down.
Yeah, when you're hitting the ball as hard as Mondo, there's so little margin for error. You got to also have top command as well.
Good command, maybe put a little slight wrinkle on the ball to get it to slice into a wall and check up a little bit.
7 serves 2.
And you make them one mistake against these pro guys with a ball that you overhit a little too high, and you're not standing in the service box much.
Second serve.
Pros know what to do with the back wall shot.
Now he goes for that same one over the top again.
That time.
Not sure if you've witnessed that new Simple Green handball ad that you're featured in, John.
I have not, no.
It's really nice, and I think we'll play it at the first break if we can.
Second serve.
But it's really kind of a great, truthful depiction of the sport of handball in a way, just from listening to the fans that have been here throughout the years.
I am always in favor of telling the truth. Speaking of that,
well, that makes one of us.
What is the prognosis, the prediction on? There's a rumor about booth replays later on in this event.
2 serves 8.
Yeah, well, technically that would happen now. And I don't know if the players know it, but, you know, we don't have to wait until ESPN on Saturday. But
Right out.
I'd like to see it in at least a practice run here, like a U.S. Open quarterfinal.
well, I'm not sure if the referee or both players are understanding that this does exist, but players do have a chance to appeal regular appealed plays. So
Point.
they go to the line judges, and they can get the call from the line judges is what I believe the process is, John. Now, you can explain this, but you appeal to the line judges. As a player, you don't get the call you want, and you know for a fact you can go then and burn one of your instant replays.
What a save.
Point.
Wow.
By having the booth here review it, and then we send, obviously, those back in our home state of Arizona will be reviewing, and they will make the call from Arizona.
That's a beautiful state-of-the-art facility you've just moved into as well. It's
Very
I'm
nice.
Sure it's going to be the best technology available.
So we'll have our review back in Tucson, Arizona. They'll beam it back to us and tell us whether or not the play was good or bad or indifferent. And that will be the final say. But a player will get, I believe, one reviewable play per
Okay,
game.
I thought the final decision was if he was correct, like football, it wouldn't count.
Right, right.
And then, yeah,
10,
One review to
serve
get
two.
wrong, I would say.
that sounds right.
Side out.
And like the other sports using this, it has to be irrefutable evidence in order to actually overrule it.
Sounds like, what is that? Yep. Yeah, I can smell controversy already.
I'm looking forward to it.
2 serves 10.
And we've seen a lot of replays that just are so, everything seems inconclusive. Just from this camera angle, especially when you're talking about a ball getting over a line when we're not looking down the line. So no matter what, you always can kind of see, unless you see daylight, you can't call it.
That's if I were in charge of seeing it. First of all, is it a 60-inch big screen? or
3
is it-
serves
you have-
10.
You have the bigger one now. But blow up that, and then you either see space or you don't. And that's
Point.
That was a smart play. Nadi Alvarado knew that Mondo was cheating back to the red carpet. Nadi pounces it down the right wall. Mondo's extending himself here. Nadi now scoring points. The WPH Race for 8. This is the
serve
Simple
10.
Green U.S. Open of Handball. Race stop number 1. Brought to you by Edel Handball.
Short.
That ball was short.
there was a rally or two back. Mondo hit an ace that Nadi dove for Mondo's 10th point. I think that's what I'm hearing from the referee.
Okay.
Second serve.
So it should say 10-4 on the scoreboard?
I think that's what I'm
Point.
hearing.
Well, these French Canadians.
9 sounds like 10.
5 serves 10.
Now it's 5-10. Okay, that we've got it right now.
No.
Ball
Ball
skid.
slid. Replay.
Early in the morning, as it turns to afternoon, it gets kind of crazy here at Los Caballeros Sports Village as the outer surface of these walls start getting heated up by the Southern California sun, which has been really nice lately, by the way. And the inside of the courts are outside, inside cold, and then it creates a sort of weather system inside the club, and condensation from these people working out in this facility have just kind of condensed on the sidewalls, and then we end up getting slides all over the court. Now, this isn't from players sweating. This is from a lot of other factors that are involved. You have to see Bill Nye, the science guy, give an explanation on this. But
Well, I was encouraged. I've been making the drive from the hotel to the facility at 8 a.m. since the history of this tournament, and it's usually still foggy at that time
5 serves
when I'm
10.
showing up for the 8 a.m. matches. And today I was staring at bright sunshine. So
No bad bounce. Off the glass.
I'm thinking maybe less humid today than the normal.
5 serves 10.
yeah, in fact, we were driving in as well, and
Short.
there was a little tiny park off of Euclid.
Miles Square Park. That's a very big park.
Yeah, it's
Second
yeah,
serve.
Miles Square.
very nice, and it was all just had this like 4 feet off the ground of fog that was
wow.
that was extending out, and it was the only place. And I thought, this is the most awesome moment. I almost wanted to pull the car
Replay.
over and just kind of run through
You
it.
had a professional. No, that's what I would. Yeah, I was thinking snap pictures.
with clothes
You're
off.
ahead of me though.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, wait a minute.
You slowed down.
Nope.
If you would have missed it, it would have been a replay. I called it before you hit the ball. I'm sorry about that.
That's the one in the modern game. We'll see exactly how it broke down here. See, the modern player wants that every time and will take his chances. They don't complain if they're given that shot and miss.
Right.
I think the
Sorry,
refs,
Mando.
and
I
Danny
thought you were
kind of
going to
knows.
run into him, and I called it right away.
And that's the one out for Danny. He could say I was afraid for safety.
But John, at the end of this play, Noddy. Now we can't hear on the instant replay when Danny says replay, but Danny could still allow that to go in Mondo's favor. Noddy never even got up to try for the ball.
No, I think the interpretation there is once the ref says something, it changes everything. It changes the player's approach to the shot. It's like all of a sudden it doesn't count anymore.
Right.
I think what even Danny agrees on is that he called it a little quickly.
But what I'm saying is we didn't hear when he said it on the replay. What happens if he says it right when Mondo's hitting it?
If I were the ref and I was that slow, I would then have to contend with the other player and say, you know what, I didn't affect anything. He made it before I called it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, yeah.
5 plays 10.
That is tough. I can see why Mondo's a little upset there because clearly he did get a nice little side out. That ball slides again.
Just in general, though, as a ref, I do like to wait a split second because you can't undo
Second
something
serve.
you've done too quickly, but you can later arrive on the correct call.
I always, as well, I don't ref much, but I'm with you
Side
on that.
out.
There's a side out. I always let it go probably way too long because I do believe that these younger guys are really, really good at getting balls and wanting to play through things. They don't like to stop play much, especially if you're a Sean Linning fan.
That's what I'm saying about
Point.
maybe a difference from when I was playing. The player would expect a call there more often, and these guys clearly all of them want to play through as much as they can safely. So I wouldn't say you're waiting too long. I'd say the old too long is now the right amount.
11 serves 5.
Hope that makes sense.
It made sense to me. I mean,
Second serve. Point.
Mondo getting a little shot of adrenaline from it apparently though. A side out and 2 points.
12 serves 5. Side out.
Noddy taking his time now, trying to compose himself, see if he can make a run.
5 serves 12. Point.
Well constructed point by Noddy there. Probably a setup on most courts. We had a discussion. This is, you'd think a pro player is not going to have trouble with glass, but it comes kind of in degrees. And
6
this,
serves 12.
Noddy and I agree, is one of the more difficult glass courts we play, or I used to play, he plays.
Point.
Nice little mini run for Noddy so far. We were discussing a practice sparring session 2 weeks ago on this court where we brought John Alvarado bike into the court.
7 serves 12.
At the time he was entered in the C division. He had to withdraw due to other commitments.
Side out.
Oh, and he'd leave one high and that's what happens. Like David was saying before. Better off getting right near that line and having a short serve than wrapping one around like that.
12 serves 7.
Going for my record, an uninterrupted streak of talking here. Never happens at my house. A very gregarious, outgoing family I have. I don't never get to talk this much uninterrupted.
Point.
Pretty high quality match. Not always hitting the the best defensive shots they can, but no errors on conversion attempts. Unusual situation for Alvarado. Fans are used to hearing over our broadcast boisterous approval for Nadi, but unfortunately his sister Adriana is playing in the women's AB right now, and apparently the family has gone that way, because otherwise you'd hear a lot more noise, like a very good noise. I don't want to say it in a degrading manner, but a little less energy than the typical Alvarado crowd here at the Simple Green event.
Well, that's actually a good thing. You know, that goes along with that Simple Green commercial I was telling you about. It ties itself in because Adriana is also featured in there, and there's going to be a glove change, and maybe we can play that commercial now. In fact, let's do that as we go into a 2-minute break. John, let's watch this commercial from Simple Green and the U.S. Open of Handball.
I'd like to thank my parents that drove me to all the games, all the long away games.
We have some really far away games.
Obviously, my parents were the most important people in the world.
My mom, dad, and my older sister, Marissa.
My mom and dad for getting us involved in sports when we were kids. With 7 kids, it was never easy to get us all involved, but you did an awesome job.
So the dinner table was always a fun place to be, and even if you lost on the court, you usually tried to win at the dinner table.
I'd like to thank my dad for getting me into handball and getting into sports.
I'd like to thank my father,
my dad first and foremost.
I'd like to thank my peer group.
My friends who I play with daily.
Ricky.
My best friend, Maria.
My freshman basketball coach. By making that freshman basketball team and the coach having seen something in me, it put me in the path to where I am now in playing sports my whole life and being more of a lifestyle.
What really got me started into sports was my grandma and my grandpa, because my grandma coached my soccer team. My sisters,
my husband,
my wife,
my in-laws,
my brother Alan for being a great player and a great model for how to be on the court.
Considering my age, which is 79, I'd like to thank handball, my younger children, and everybody that's younger than me for keeping me in this game, because I think I'm healthy and mentally alert because of it.
So thank you.
Thank you for getting me into handball.
Being my biggest benefactor
for supporting me and coming out here.
Creating such an amazing atmosphere.
Keeping me fired up and loving the game.
Being an inspiration.
Without them, I don't think I'd play sports.
I know it wasn't simple.
It wasn't simple.
Wasn't simple.
You should have left sport day.
Pretty cool stuff.
Wow, that's brilliant. Who thinks of things like that? That's a
Simple Green, folks.
beautiful commercial.
It wasn't simple, but it was worth it. Simple Green U.S. Open of Handball, a celebration for the whole family. Fountain Valley, California. This is a traditional tournament now that's brought in so many families from all over the world. Paul Brady told me as he made a quick visit to Tucson just a few days ago that there was over 30 Irish players that were here at this event. He said 30 friends and family of the Irish players that are here. So he said about, a few busloads are here to watch this event. So it's actually turned out to be one of those premier tournaments that people come to.
I think that's what Bruce Fabrizio and Nadi Sr. had in mind starting this thing. It's just growing a little bit every year and getting more of a non-playing support also.
It's an extended 2-minute break here for Nati Alvarado and Mondo Ortiz as they have a glove change here.
Yeah, and that's another way the area has grown. I actually have a large pool of qualified referees to select from, and Danny's moving down a slot right now with this 2-minute plus glove change. That's a definite check.
Play. Mondo serving. The score is 13, plays 7.
Nadi's still within striking distance here. Mondo Ortiz, you would think, has the perfect physical body style for a handball player. You know, you played against Vince Munoz, who is oh so similar to Mondo Ortiz. John, you and I are both tall guys, 6'3" or so.
That's our average height, yes. You're a bit taller.
And then you've got Mondo out there. It's about 5'4".
Short.
Nadi's about 5'7". You know, maybe Nadi's got the perfect body style. What do you think is the right premier height and weight for a handball player?
Just if you're tall, are you flexible enough to overcome it? If you're not tall, are you strong enough? I mean, there's different paths to success. Paul Brady is close to Nadi Senior's dimensions, I believe. 5'10", 5'11", maybe. And those are two good guys. You could make an argument for David Chapman winning his last title at 5'10", about 220.
Yeah, I guess it's perfect for, you know, everybody's got a different body style.
What you make out of it.
I look at Mondo Ortiz and I say, you know, since he is a striker, a ground and pound guy, and he has a good kill shot and a great serve, his height actually works in his advantage.
That's what I'm saying. You can't try and take what you have and make the most out of that. And that's, like you say, yeah, Mondo's game is built for Mondo's body.
Side out.
So far this tournament, we've seen a lot of slide balls, a lot of bad bounces. Hopefully we're getting all of that stuff and all those delays out of the way for some of the big matches. Not saying that this isn't, because certainly this could be a national final type match here. In fact, John, out of all the years I ever recall, this is the one where we're seeing round of 16 upsets, round of 16 matches that would only happen in a national final. That's how vast.
Well, that was kind of an anomaly. Shanks coming in unranked. Lenning really had a hard time last year. He just didn't play. Last year he played like a number 7 ranked player. When clearly we all know once he gets it back together, he's a finalist caliber, like you say.
Right.
So that.
Second serve.
Well, those that complain about it, you say, well, somebody's going to have to play Shanks. Somebody's going to have to play Sean. And you can make arguments for any other person in the draw of why they shouldn't play those two.
Any except for one of them.
Well, probably.
Not sure how he escaped that, but.
15 serves 8.
They're saying 15-8 right now. So
short.
That one might have made it over.
I call the ball short. One agree, one disagree. You have one serve coming.
He has the right to play 2 there if he's not sure, but Danny is rarely not sure. And that's the situation Ortiz does have, whether he realizes or not, has the option to send it to Tucson for review.
Yeah, this is at a point where you just almost don't even want to care about it much.
That's
you know,
true,
you're up 15-16. You might want to reserve that for a potential
16
game changer later.
Serves 8. Sorry,
because you have it.
Wait.
Just because you have it, John, you don't have to use it.
That's applicable in so many areas of life.
Currently, in fact.
Serves 8.
Man, Mondo hits a hard ball.
Side out.
The fact that Nadi just put a wrinkle on that to end it out after Mondo just pounded that ball at him.
Yeah, smart counter there. It's such a strong impulse or instinct to just match power with power, especially when it's gotten you so much success over the years. Nice adjustment
16.
there by Alvarado, though.
Short.
I like that serve a lot.
Short.
That ball was really short. But
you have one serve coming.
Love that serve. Out of all the serves that you'd possibly see in your life, that one that is a slight, for a right-hander, wrinkle away, reverse.
It's just bread and butter.
Point.
Now Nadi's starting to get into a system. See if Nadi goes back to that down the right, wrinkle away. It's really designed not necessarily to get an ace, but more of a weak return. And he does. And that's the one I'm talking about. Trying to get a weak return to get a quick first strike. I find that that's probably, you know, for those that have that really good serve, is the sort of what I call the neutralizer. It also allows you to locate all of your other serves too, because you can get into a groove with that serve. And if you're in a groove with that one, everything else is going to probably work out well.
Yeah, and everything else can be a little less perfect. The player's got to be on guard for that serve and primarily trying to cover that.
John, did you have equivalent of that serve with your left hand?
I honestly had a different feel every day. You know, my go-to, my favorite when it was working was a left-handed natural down to left. That some days it was just consistently a little short. And if I adjusted it, it would take the risk of hitting the back wall. But yeah, something day in, day out. It's a great thing to have.
Second serve.
Not going to go with a 2-wall here.
Although you saw during the timeout, I didn't get to mention, I thought Noddy would make a run here because he was getting advice from Chris Watkins at the end of that timeout. And Chris and I have both observed that from mainly playing 2-on-1 and doubles with him, boy, when he's mixing in a right-hand natural with that reverse, it's just too much to deal with. He just doesn't seem to have the same confidence or command, though, to use it as much.
Well, Chris actually gives great advice. He doesn't do well when he gives himself advice, but his
Chris has got quite a record. I wouldn't say that go there at all.
I went there.
I most respectfully disagree. And round one is coming to a close with a flurry.
11, serve 16.
Alvarado within 5 right now.
Point.
Now it's 12-16. Little variety on the serve. And you just
12.
I don't know
16.
how many players actually, you would know this better than I, how many players actually study all the tape, just make it systematically watch every one of these once they're available. But I know one of them is Chris Watkins. So I'm always
hi, Chris. 2 months from now.
It might be sooner than that.
I'll get a text 2 months from now.
Well, we're coming into the beginning of his season. I think he'll be watching everything before his debut in Tucson. Is that the senior event? The first one's in Tucson in a few weeks?
That's correct.
And
he said he was thinking about going, but thinking and doing are two different things. Once again, thank you for the text, Chris. 2 months from now.
I'm saying it might be less time than that. How's he going to prepare? It'd be too late for Tucson if he waits that long to watch this.
Serve 16.
Up to 13-16 now.
Now you saw Noddy kind of flip a switch back there. You said you felt the momentum change. And that's when Chris came over. Now 14-16. Noddy doesn't need his whole family watching, I guess.
He's doing it intrinsically today.
He's doing this one on his own.
Like Drago.
14-16, 1 minute.
You're watching the Simple Green U.S. Open of Handball, race for 8, stop number 1 here in the 2014-15 season. As we stream at racefor8.com, make sure to tell your friends and family members to tune in to that sport that you've been talking about and obsessing over for the last few hundred years. I know players that go to work all the time, they talk about handball, and I'm at a tournament and they get back and talk about their trophies that they won and at the water cooler, and their coworkers don't even know what they're talking about. Well, this is your opportunity. Give them the link at racefor8.com and now they can see what you're talking about. It's a Simple Green Race for 8. We're at the Los Caballero Sports Village in Fountain Valley, California for this event where we're in the quarterfinals. Yesterday we had some pretty big upsets in a way. I guess, you know, Sean Lenning versus Charlie Shanks isn't really an upset. Either one of those, whoever wins is getting upset in the round itself, but, you know, one of those guys are going to have to win that one. But Dave Fink losing to Luis Cordoba yesterday. And then we had, what was the other one that was that was big there?
Well, Nash had a close call, but he did escape.
That was a round of 32 match against a guy that doesn't really play small ball, Boxer Rosales.
And no, I think we're looking at who we expected
Resuming
now.
play, Alvarado serving.
Showed, you discussed
14,
Shanks,
serve
Cordova,
16.
Brady. I think we've got it covered now.
In the earlier rounds, it was Eric Torres defeating Jonathan Hingy. Not really an upset, but I guess, you know,
Replay.
I think those that are following Hingy's career were a little upset.
14, serve 16.
Shorty Ruiz was up 14-7 against Paul Brady.
I heard it was 15.
I thought it was 15-7, but I was standing in the very back gallery and I could not hear the referee, Bill Mihilos, give that score, but I heard a teen. I guess
you may as well have said 19 then.
I could have said
awesome.
I could have said anything from 13 to 19, and I chose one digit off.
Yeah.
I was 1 point off.
Yeah. Ortiz back in the box.
Backhanded pickup from Mondo, and he's not going to get that one.
Look at the reflexes from the production crew there. Dealing with an eclipse from this angle, immediately got the right angle.
You also saw a little bit of emotion from Nadi Alvarado.
It's funny, this is so early in the year, usually the first or second stop.
16.
We're at 14, 16, okay. But in a lot of ways, this is Nadi's biggest event of the year. The family support here and the family history with Simple Green and Mr. Fabrizio. Most support he gets all year, so it's unusual that you open the season with kind of your own little personal national.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of, it falls in this area where you start the season out with the biggest tournament of the year. This is usually what closes the season out. But the season kind of gets closed out with the USHA Four-Wall Nationals, which is also regarded as the biggest of the year. So you kind of have this cool bookend effect. But some of the players will come into this tournament a little rusty.
Yeah, there's no substitute for matches like this to prepare you for future matches like this. And they'll stack up now. They'll get a couple of these every month. But most of them have not had much prior to this event.
16, serves 14.
Except the 20 ridiculously talented Irish pros who all live within 4 hours of each other.
Check the ball.
We call this a national quarterfinal. They call it Tuesday.
That's true.
$16, serves 14. Point. $17, serves 14.
That's 17-14 here. Mondo going for the crack. I thought it was short.
Side out.
He's going to appeal. I think you're right also. This would be the ideal situation. And now it's 17-14.
They both disagree.
Okay, so
that's a short.
Good job at the linesman.
Nadi knew it as well. This ball just about 2 inches.
Tucson is being proactive here, calling on the old landline.
You have one serve coming.
Boy, that's a flat rollout in that right corner. Now 18-14 Mondo. 3 points away from taking game number 1.
18, serves 14. Point.
That looked like a clear enough foot fault to not ignore to me. He really put everything into that.
Oh, Mondo.
Timeout, Nadi Alvarado.
Nadi with the timeout. Could he be alerted to this and ask for the video replay?
19-14, 1 minute.
He could be. I mean, I don't know.
Because that's how they do it in football. They actually get a chance to see it themselves before they choose to make the review.
In baseball, they do the same thing.
Baseball every time now, yeah.
Baseball doesn't even hide the fact.
He put something extra into this.
Nope.
No, it was later.
Wouldn't be conclusive enough.
It wouldn't be. No, he was came barreling over, but that was after he had completed the motion.
Now, baseball doesn't hide the fact that that's what they're doing.
As long as they get it right. And there's so many remarkably close plays. I mean, I think baseball was screaming for that innovation years and years before they actually got it.
Well, when the Little League World Series was doing it 3 years before Major League Baseball decided to do it, you knew there was a problem. But now that they have it, I sometimes, you know, I was one of those guys that wanted it those, you know, many years ago. Now I see it and it's like such a distraction when the coach comes out and talks to the umpire and is looking at making a double switch, and all he's doing is just stalling, and everybody knows that he's just waiting for, you know, somebody else to review the video back home, give him a text message to take it. To me, that's almost that's going against the whole thought.
Yeah, I would, like everybody else, think baseball takes too long, but I think that's one of the more valuable delays. I think there's plenty of other areas they could shave time on.
Replay.
Oh, I don't know. Naughty trips into Mondo and gets a replay out of that.
Mondo staying in the zone, just looking for the next shot.
Side out. I thought the ball was good.
Saying there's a bad bounce
Ball
off
was
the
good.
front wall camera hole. I didn't even
see anything
think
wrong.
the ball
It was
even
a
was
side
close
out.
to that hole.
Nothing occurred to me there
The
that
score
could
is
be appealed.
14, serves 19.
Naughty's had some magical moments on this court.
Bad bounce.
That one I heard.
Mondo is upset about that. You're going to call this, but you're not going to call mine?
Yeah, I'm not with him on this occasion. I did.
Ball hit the glass and came up. $14 serves 19.
It's always been a source of controversy, that glass. Many balls hit it and make that sound, but it's really only the ones that hit the edging.
I saw it slide. So I can see what Naughty's argument is here.
I didn't see a slide, but I thought you got it. If the ball didn't slide, it's a point. But you're saying it's a slide.
I thought I saw a slide in lifetime. You see that ball pick up there.
Did you see the ball slide? Did you see the ball slide? No. Nobody saw it. Sorry. It's a side out. And the score is 9. Sorry. Can I see your gloves, Mando? Yeah, glove change.
Good veteran move right there by Alvarado, getting himself 2 minutes at a crucial time. Mondo hoping to get 2 quick points and
19,
take a break.
14, glove change,
Naughty going to the old
minutes.
opponent's glove change.
We're going to take a 2-minute break here in the booth as well. We'll be back in just a bit. Stick around for the conclusion of game number 1 between Naughty Alvarado and Mondo Ortiz here at racefor8.com.
Rethink what you know about this Vegas icon. Elevate your expectations at the Stratosphere Hotel, Casino, and Tower. See what's new, up, down, and all around.
Get a remarkable clean with non-toxic and biodegradable Simple Green all-purpose cleaner. Spray straight from the bottle on heavy grime or dilute the concentrated formula to make up to 11 bottles of daily cleaner. Safe for all washable surfaces, Simple Green can be used indoors and out, from kitchens and bathrooms to living and play areas, countertops and floors to furniture and clothing. Keep your home and our world clean with Simple Green.
Get ready for your next barbecue with the Southland's most delicious smoked sausages. I'm Rachel Serrato from Far West Meats. My family has provided quality, delicious meats locally for over 90 years. At Far West Meats, we take pride in serving a mouth-watering variety of smoked sausages, including beef, chicken, and Louisiana hot or mild, and our new products like Red Hots and chicken chorizo. Please find Far West Meats products at your local supermarkets, including Albertsons, Smart & Final, Stater Brothers, Superior, Gardinas, Walmart, Food for Less, and Winco.
Far West Meats is proud to be participating in the Simple Greens U.S. Open of Handball, as we have been a part of the Southern California handball community for over 40 years.
Back at Los Caballeros, conclusion, game one, John Bike, Dave Vincent. This is the WPH Race for 8 by Edel Handball and Simple Green U.S. Open of Handball Men's Pro Division. Simple Green online at simplegreen.com, also available at your local retail outlet.
Resuming play, Mando serving, the score is 19, plays 14.
This is 19-14. Alvarado brought it 14-16 and was on a roll, and then Mondo started.
He faked him out there. You see that? Mondo rarely resorts to that, but what a good time to do it.
Mondo here at 20 after that big extended 2-minute
20, possible game point, serves 14.
glove timeout. Now within just 30 seconds, we're almost
short.
Finding the conclusion. That ball was short.
Second serve. Side out.
Right, possibly the last chance for Alvarado here.
Fourteen serves 20.
Here in our outdoor booth, you never know what's going to happen.
Point.
Alvarado up to 15.
Maybe about an hour.
15 serves 20.
Score here is 15-20. You heard that score from our referee, Danny Bell. There's been flashes of brilliancy here from Nadi Alvarado.
Second serve.
Still knows what to do when he's in the box. Just can he get enough chances in there?
Oh, nice shot there from Nadi Alvarado. And now you can hear some yelling there from his fans. Sounds like your wife, Lupita.
That'd be my first guess as well.
I recognize that scream.
16 serves 20.
You should hear it from 1 foot away.
Point.
Here's Cubs. He's 43% the way there.
Alvarado now at 17-20.
Serves 20.
I don't recall the very beginning of this, but wasn't Mondo up 7-0? He had a nice fast start.
5, yeah.
Ooh, now Nadi gets his 18th point.
He's appealing the serve. I call the serve good. One agree, one disagree. That's a point.
So we're at 18-20. How about that?
The score is 18 serves 20.
Boy, almost a scream. Nadi's pounding
Good
that ball
chance
into
here
that
for
left
19.
wall.
See, I think Nadi had the right side open there.
He's been getting a lot of those points off that left side wall, though.
Not that time.
Mondo hits this perfect crack rollout, and Mondo's got the crowd behind him here. That's mainly that big ball crowd coming over, crossing over, and
2 timeouts left. You take a timeout. Timeout, Alvarado. 1 minute.
it's a smart
The
move.
score
Nadi
is
Alvarado
20-18.
calling a timeout. It's the Simple Green U.S. Open of Handball, Fountain Valley, California.
You have 2 left.
Nadi Alvarado, 41 years of age, up against the mid-20s of Mondo Ortiz, 25. Mondo Ortiz, as you recall, Salt Lake City earlier in the year for the Players Championship, took down Paul Brady in the opening round. And that opening round starts right in the qualifier. Excuse me, the quarterfinals. It starts with a Q. There's only about 6 Q words that are in existence, and I messed it up. But it was Mondo taking down Paul Brady there in the quarters, and that was sort of his Super Bowl because he didn't do well in the next round, but he proved to everybody that he could play and beat.
All right, resuming play. Mondo serving.
Certainly very select company.
20, serves 18.
This is where Nadi has to get out of the block really quick here.
A little overhit there. Boy, they're playing close. The corner's open, and he goes front side. He's probably aiming side front there.
Referee kind of went up 3 or 4 different octaves there when he was calling replay. He wanted to make sure to get it out as fast as he could.
Everybody's at heightened senses right now.
20, serves 18.
There's another attempt for Mondo Ortiz. And I think he might have got it. No, Nadi's able to dig it. Nadi gets that ball.
Remarkable.
And there's a side out called here.
Absolutely.
No replay from the referee.
Wow, Nadi saved himself 2 or 3 times there.
That was one of the best rallies we've seen. Mondo somehow gets that back. The referee called a replay?
I did call a replay on that.
Oh, I thought that was already the second bounce.
I mean, he was going to jump over you.
There's a safety issue, but a jump or no jump, I don't think he's...
Just because a player has to jump doesn't mean that he could have got the ball.
I think the ball just was too far away. Maybe a 6'4" Mondo Ortiz might have got that.
See, now all of a sudden Mondo wishes he was taller. There goes my whole theory. This is certainly a side out for Nadi Alvarado. Referee.
1, 2. Look how far that bounces away from him.
And Nadi knows it too, and he's yelling at himself to pump himself up because he knows he's going to the server's box, but now he finds himself not in the server's box.
Yeah, sometimes the fist pump is to influence a call, but not in that case. That was the emotion of executing a perfect diving re-kill.
Oh, he took a lot off of that dive as well. I mean, he dove and just let the ball feather out of his hand to make it die in front of Mondo. It was a perfect dive, perfect execution. Referee called it over, though. And I did hear the referee chirp during the rally, but I thought he was saying good or side out. I didn't realize he said replay.
Of course, hinder calls not reviewable or appealable.
20, serves 18. Short. Second serve.
Ooh, behind the back.
You haven't seen many hand airs from these guys.
God, he's so much more comfortable going across his body when, from this angle, it looks like the right side might be open.
Boy, right down the middle to Mondo here, and Mondo puts it away.
Point.
Nadi
Game. 5
played
minutes.
this little paddle thing going on there at the end. When I felt that Mondo was giving him opportunities, Nadi started kind of shoveling it.
Well, it's only one call, but it's from serving at 18-20, being more than capable of running off 3 points, to all of a sudden facing game point against you again.
Right.
That's hard to overcome as well.
Well, you're watching the Simple Green U.S. Open of Handball. We have a 5-minute break now as we get ready for game number 2. First one went to Mondo Ortiz, 21-18. We'll have that second one that we mentioned coming up next. Stick around at racefor8.com.
Rethink what you know about this Vegas icon. Elevate your expectations at the Stratosphere Hotel, Casino, and Tower. See what's new, up, down, and all around.
Get a remarkable clean with non-toxic and biodegradable Simple Green all-purpose cleaner. Use straight from the bottle on heavy grime or dilute the concentrated formula to make up to 44 bottles of daily cleaner. Safe for all washable surfaces, Simple Green can be used indoors and out. From kitchens and bathrooms to living and play areas, countertops and floors to furniture and clothing. Keep your home and our world clean with Simple Green.
My life is full of statistics. Thing is, I could have dropped out of school and become one myself, but I didn't because I had people that believed in me. Here's another statistic. 7,000 students drop out every school day. That's one every 26 seconds. It's time that students know that we believe in them.
Inspire a student and share your message of support at boostup.org.
Here we go. We're gonna make some juice.
It's gonna be good.
She's excited. A little bit of kale.
Please don't put this on.
I'm putting it all over the line.
It's wet. It needs something. No, it'll go.
Don't break my juicer. Looks good.
You ready to try it?
Come on, baby.
Challenge your kids to be active and eat healthy.
It's okay.
Okay, all right.
They might surprise you.
Hey, she took another sip. You saw it?
Search We Can for more ideas on how you and your kids can get healthy together.
Get ready for your next barbecue with the Southland's most delicious smoked sausages. I'm Rachel Serrato from Far West Meats. My family has provided quality, delicious meats locally for over 90 years. At Far West Meats, we take pride in serving a mouth-watering variety of smoked sausages, including beef, chicken, and Louisiana hot or mild, and our new products like Red Hots and Chicken Chorizo. Please find Far West Meats products at your local supermarkets, including Albertsons, Smart & Final, Stater Brothers, Superior, Gardinas, Walmart, Food for Less, and Winco.
Far West Meats is proud to be participating in the Simple Greens U.S. Open of Handball, as we have been a part of the Southern California handball community for over 40 years.
Get a remarkable clean with non-toxic and biodegradable Simple Green all-purpose cleaner. Spray straight from the bottle on heavy grime or dilute the concentrated formula to make up to 11 bottles of daily cleaner. Safe for all washable surfaces, Simple Green can be used indoors and out. From kitchens and bathrooms to living and play areas, countertops and floors to furniture and clothing. Keep your home and our world clean with Simple Green.
I
I'd like to thank my parents that drove me all the games, all the long away games.
We have some really far away games.
Obviously, my parents were the most important people in the world.
My mom, dad, and my older sister Marissa.
My mom and dad for getting us involved in sports when we were kids. With 7 kids, it was never easy to get us all involved, but you did an awesome job.
The dinner table was always a fun place to be, and even if you lost on the court, you usually tried to win at the dinner table.
I'd like to thank my dad for getting me into handball and getting into sports.
I'd like to thank my father,
My dad,
my dad first and foremost.
I'd like to thank my peer group.
my friends who I play with daily,
Ricky.
My best friend, Maria.
My freshman basketball coach. By making that freshman basketball team and the coach having seen something in me, it put me in the path to where I am now and playing sports my whole life and being more of a lifestyle.
What really got me started into sports was my grandma and my grandpa, because my grandma coached my soccer team. My sisters, my husband.
My wife.
My in-laws.
My brother Alan for being a great player and a great model for how to be on the court.
considering my age, which is 79, I'd like to thank handball, my younger children, and everybody that's younger than me for keeping me in this game, because I think I'm healthy and mentally alert because of it.
So thank you.
Thank you for getting me into handball.
Being my biggest benefactor
For supporting me and coming out here.
Creating such an amazing atmosphere.
Keeping me fired up and loving the game.
Being an inspiration.
Without them, I don't think I'd play sports.
I know it wasn't simple.
Wasn't simple.
Wasn't simple. Wasn't simple.
But he sure was sport day.
Working and working out takes a lot of energy. That's why I drink Zenergy. Feeling fantastic and looking good has never been easier. Science, extreme science for your active lifestyle.
That and they
We are back at Los Caballeros Sports Village, Fountain Valley, California, for the Simple Green U.S. Open of Handball. Dave Vincent alongside Dave Fink for this quarterfinal match, game number 2, Mondo Ortiz and Nadia Alvarado. First one, pretty exciting, Dave. I know that you watch from the nether regions of the facility and this broadcast booth from afar. Nadia Alvarado forged his way back, got up to 18 before Mondo got those last few points.
I call that a radio cast. I'm just listening to you from just behind the monitor.
Well,
doing a great job, you and John.
There were certainly some calls that went in favor of Mondo, but it didn't necessarily mean that Nadia would have won the match. But this game is such a momentum style of game, and you saw that Nadia was able to break momentum many times during that match, and it just didn't work out for him there. So I guess that's just what happens, you know, in this wonderful sport of handball.
You think, Dave, that Nadia would need to win that first game, particularly a game that lasted over an hour. He's got those 41-year-old legs. So he lost a very tough first game Now he's got a huge mountain to climb here. He's got to win 2 games in a row on 41-year-old legs against 25-year-old legs.
Yeah, this is certainly, not the easiest thing to do. I mean, you're getting up there in age yourself, and when you play these young guys, you go, well, I don't think technically they're better than I am, but they're able to get out of the servers, out of the returner's box quicker than I can. They can, they can keep going and going when I need to call timeouts. I mean, just things change when you get older.
Yeah.
And you can see Mondo is just, his foot is on the pedal. This is what Nadi looked like about 4 or 5 years ago. Just really active, running around in between plays. Now you see Nadi trying to slow the game down more so he doesn't have to face this onslaught from Mondo Ortiz.
3 serves 1.
These guys played just once last year, Dave, and that was in the round of 16 at Plummer, where Mondo shocked Nadi Alvarado. He actually went on to make the finals of that tournament as a qualifier, and of course from there he's just been one of our very best players, ranked in the top 5 now and climbing. Remember, he didn't play singles here last year, so he's going to pick up whatever points he wins. He'll likely be in the top 3 after this event.
Yeah. I can see Mondo seriously, if he took the season serious, I could see him being that guy that could be a victor at the Players' Championship.
I completely agree. Talking to Mondo a little bit during the off season, he said, that's what I'm going for. I'm going for that 20 grand in Salt Lake City. That's what I'm training to do. And of course, Dave, you follow him on Twitter.
Fade out.
Mondesi Dave, and I'll read his tweet for you. Officially on, get ready, on a way to a championship. Now, that's not a guy who does a lot of trash talking, Dave. I think he's just announcing, I'm here to win.
Yeah.
The Cinderella story is no more. I'm now going for the glory, the title, the #1 ranking, and everything that comes ready for this. They ain't ready for this. Now, that's quoting Mondesi again on Twitter. You can follow him, Dave, at Handball Ortiz.
All right.
I know you do.
How do you get an at Handball Ortiz and then your username is Mondesi?
Well,
shouldn't they be?
I would think so, yes. But
shouldn't they be kind of one?
I guess one is a handle, the other is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I can't do an at Mondesi, and it's not going to go to his Handball Ortiz insignia.
4 serves 2.
Not sure how it works.
Short.
Dave, you've been on this court, and you're one of the top servers in the game, or you were before you hurt your elbow. But how much does that window affect your serve? Because that's really where you're.
0 for me.
0. Okay.
Absolutely 0. It does all these other guys though, because they hit that. The top servers that play in this one hit the ball hard.
Yeah.
I was not a hard striker, never have been. So to me, in order to hit that window, you actually have to be hitting the ball above 75 miles an hour.
Yeah.
To get it to draw that line, because that it's only 18 inches off the ground. So.
Yeah, your serve actually is probably more like 24 to 30 inches off the ground.
Yeah, I hit it softer. I hit a soft hop, and these guys are hitting lasers, and of course it affects them. But the court, as a server, it feels wider. There's something about it. Also, very strong walls. So I love to serve here.
Nadi with a beautiful between the legs tweener retrieve, and he wins the rally 3 shots later. We've seen in the last couple of official events, Nadi losing a close game and then just kind of going away in the second game, particularly in his second or third round where he's really struggled. Word from his camp, though, Dave, is that he has been playing unbelievably well and training really hard. So maybe he'll get past those second or third round fatigue.
Mondo Ortiz right there hits that ball down the right, Dave. Just very similar to what you've seen Nadi Alvarado do for.
Yeah, that's a great shot.
That was a Nadi shot.
He takes the spin off the right side wall and lets the ball run through his hand, and that actually straightens the ball out when it hits the front wall.
Side out.
These guys are doing that by design. It's kind of like for a right-hander, it's sort of a reverse out of the hand into the sidewall. See Mondo Ortiz wearing that really cool-looking WPH Race for 8 powered by ESPN shirt.
serves 5.
Mondo Ortiz, Dave, 8-4 last season, which may not sound that impressive, but when you look at his wins, Paul Brady, Emmett Pichotte,
Second serve.
Nadi Alvarado, Sean Lenning.
Great wins. That's
Yeah,
that's like a lifetime achievement
Yeah.
award right there.
Beat somebody in this
Line
booth
out.
twice. But
Well, that's good, Dave. You were ranked number 2 last year for
5 serves 2.
a couple weeks. Mondo
Yeah.
has you, Lenning, Paul Brady, Nadi. That's pretty impressive.
Point.
You see other guys that have got pretty high rankings, and they haven't gotten past any of those guys yet. Well, Mondo's certainly a threat. Paul Brady was in Tucson just about 3 days ago, and we spent some time together and was able to talk to him about Mondo Ortiz, and he told me that he's now the guy in Moreno that he's looking over to and thinking this, this is going to be serious, he says, moving forward. It's not going to be easy.
well, speaking of serious, Dave, you updated a score last night. Paul Brady trailing 15-7 and then coming back to win 21-15. Paul Brady saw that within 5 minutes of getting off the court with Shorty Ruiz and stepped in and said, no, get your facts right. It was 14-7.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen that in other sports.
Yeah, that's.
I don't know if LeBron, when he sees on SportsCenter that, they said he had 34 points and he calls in and says he had 35. I don't know if that happens. Now,
either that Paul was really focused or he's just was trying to give me, a little taste of the medicine that I have often given him, but that was awkward.
It was very strange. I was shocked when I saw that.
I was off by 1 point, but as I was explaining to John, I'm standing in a gallery that's packed. I mean, it was completely packed last night, and you can't hear the referee call the score. I was just sort of going off feel. Okay, 14, 15, whatever.
Side out.
I kind of like that from Paul because
6 serves 2.
it shows that it means something to him if he's really being serious, and that means Paul's very focused right now.
Side out.
Talking about that Shorty Ruiz match I was watching last night, Shorty couldn't do anything wrong. He was playing Paul just absolutely perfect, Dave. I mean, it was just every little slight mistake Paul left off the back wall, Shorty was hitting it both hands 1 inch high off the back wall. The crowd was behind Shorty's thing there. Paul calls a timeout. Now I find out it was 14-17 instead of 15.
7.
Paul comes, 15-7, 14-7, whatever it was. Paul comes in and then scores 14 straight unanswered points. That's one thing that can't be argued. And it was as if Paul said, okay, I found the groove. I'm going to take care of this now. And he did. It was really impressive.
No real flow here, Dave. Early in this second game, I think both players, a little bit in a lull after that great first game and that dramatic conclusion.
Yeah, the flow goes back and forth here. Very streaky on both players' parts.
Dave, Mondo is earning some big wins. A few years ago, he had wins over Sean Lenning and some of the other really top players, Alan Garner, but he couldn't get past Nadi Alvarado. That was kind of the guy that was always in his way. Nadi would beat him locally in LA. He would beat him also at the pro stops. But now he seems to have moved past that, and that's a hard thing to do because Nadi's a guy that Mondo has looked up to growing up in Southern California. But I think there's still some residual there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you'd have to think that, when you're in your certain particular region and there's somebody that you know about that you've not been able to beat, and it takes years and years and years for you to do it.
Yeah.
Once you finally do it, that's sort of like a monkey off your back. I mean, that's more of a respect to Nadi Alvarado than anything. And as I had this conversation earlier with John Bike, Nadi steps in here at 4-6. I like that shot from Nadi. Here's the party ball.
Side out.
And then Nadi slips on his own condensation and gets a side out.
It is slippery on the floors here.
It is.
I've had a problem.
The place is greasy. The thing that I was bringing up earlier to John is that, there's been local legends that people have been able to beat, and they say, yeah, I defeated Rick Christian, you know. But for some reason, when it comes to Nadi Alvarado, it seems to be more intense. We saw the same thing with Marco Chavez when he defeated him finally for the last time last year, the last season, and then with Mondo Ortiz as well. It was a really big, exciting moment for them. We saw it with Sean Linning when he beat him for the first time. You know, Sean almost cried. Remember?
Yeah.
I mean, that was an interesting moment as well. So it seems like, you know, huge respect out to him, and I think we've overanalyzed it, but really it comes down to just the fact that these guys really respect him, because once you played him one time, you realize how darn good he is. And that was a crazy bounce right there. Mondo hits that ball, Nadi jumps up, and it goes right over his head. Can there be such a thing as a bad bounce on the ground?
7, serves 4.
South End Rowing Club, yes. Los Cab, I'm not sure.
Point.
This game, I feel like could get away from Nadi here, Dave, pretty quickly. Not seeing the flat rollout power kills from Mondo, but then again, Nadi puts so much on the ball, it's hard to really get yourself set.
That's a good reason right there. Nadi takes that ball off the back wall. Mondo's set up for it, but Mondo doesn't realize Nadi has that cool reverse off the back wall.
Well, you're pretty much dead in the water once you hit that serve 10 feet off the back wall.
Look at the replay here. Dave, you'll see what I'm saying. On replay, watch what Nadi does to this ball off the back wall. Mondo's actually set up pretty good, even though he's too close to the front wall. Nadi hits this ball, and you'll see it reverse away from Mondo. He set up pretty good ball away.
Well, when you can hit the reverse like that with that much pace, you don't have to go for 2 inches high. You can hit it 6 inches high and still comfortably win the rally. Have we had any instant replays yet, Dave?
No, players haven't capitalized on it.
Point.
There's a skip in.
Mondo catching the ball a little bit behind himself there, and that's why he missed it 2 inches short.
Well, Mondesi made that look tough. It wasn't too easy for Mondesi.
This is a very tough back wall. Even though these players have played on it a number of years, I would think that guys like Nadi and Mondo would want to make that hour and a half drive to come here to get acclimated to the court, because that can be a 3 or 4 point difference per game, and that's the difference between possibly winning and not winning.
Yeah, Dave, playing on these courts are just different than any other facility. It is cement, so it is hard, but they just seem to gathers the ball different, Dave. Have you noticed that it checks up sometimes, it slides other times? There's no consistency.
I think these are definitely the kind of courts you'd want to play on as much as you could to become adjusted.
6, serves 8. Point.
There's another point now, 7-8. And just as it seemed that Mondo was going to go on a run, Nadi just reversed it somehow, just like he did in the first game. Mondo was up big in the first game. Nadi came back.
7, serves 8.
To bring it 14-16 at one point, when it looked like Mondo was going to run away with a single-digit win.
Side out.
We're talking like 11-3 and 14-5 type scores in that first game. And then there was another run late for Nadi Alvarado.
Yeah, 2 minutes left change.
And there's a 2-minute break. We're going to have a 2-minute break here in the booth as well. We'll be back in just a bit for Dave Fink. More of game number 2 coming up in 2 minutes here at racefreight.com.
I'd like to thank my parents that drove me all the games, all the long away games.
We have some really far away games.
Obviously, my parents were the most important people in the world.
My mom, dad, and my older sister Marissa.
My mom and dad for getting us involved in sports when we were kids. With 7 kids, it was never easy to get us all involved, but you did an awesome job.
The dinner table was always a fun place to be, and even if you lost on the court, you usually tried to win at the dinner table.
I'd like to thank my dad for getting me into handball and getting into sports.
I'd like to thank my father,
my dad,
most first and foremost.
I'd like to thank my peer group.
my friends who I play with daily,
Ricky,
My best friend, Maria.
My freshman basketball coach. By making that freshman basketball team and the coach having seen something in me, it put me in the path to where I am now and playing sports my whole life and being more of a lifestyle.
What really got me started into sports was my grandma and my grandpa, because my grandma coached my soccer team. My sisters, my husband,
My wife.
my in-laws, my brother Alan for being a great player and a great model for how to be on the court.
considering my age, which is 79. I'd like to thank handball, my younger children, and everybody that's younger than me for keeping me in this game, because I think I'm healthy and mentally alert because of it.
So thank you.
Thank you for getting me into handball. Being my biggest benefactor for supporting me and coming out here.
Creating such an amazing atmosphere.
Keeping me fired up and loving the game.
being an inspiration.
Without them, I don't think I'd play sports.
I know it wasn't simple.
Wasn't simple.
Wasn't simple. Wasn't simple.
You sure was sport, baby.
Yeah. I said 30 seconds. 30 seconds ago.
I am worried. Back in Fountain Valley, California, conclusion of game number 2 after a 2-minute glove change between Nadi Alvarado and Mondo Ortiz. Nadi has a lot of fight in him. He also plays well in these courts, but he did not win game number 1 here. Looked like Mondo was on a way to taking down Nadi pretty easy here in game number 2, and Nadi's fought back. Now I think the score is 8-7 in favor of Ortiz. Always to hate.
8 serve 7.
Hate to say that I hate live on the air, but this is one of those moments where I actually did hate to say that.
Oh, that was not a good air there from Nadi, Dave. Just if you're going to make that air, you at least want to make a good swing, and he just looked like he didn't commit himself.
Second serve.
I think Nadi was going to try to feather that in the left corner.
Right out.
Well, he comes back with that one.
By the time he got his legs behind the ball and pushed himself into it. Good looking swing. I still thought Mondo should have picked that up though.
7 serves 9.
For the young kids out there, that's why after you serve, you need to look back. Even if you're playing somebody that hits the ball hard like Nadi, you just need to look back and to see if he's going to go to the left or right. I just think that Mondo just wasn't engaged enough on that return from Nadi.
Sometimes, Dave, I think Nadi's second serve is more dangerous than his first. He lines up all the way on the left, and you don't know if he's going to slide one down the right, go behind himself, or hit that hard Z serve, so you're really off balance.
8 serves 9.
Sometimes when he takes that first step, you still don't know.
Amazing serve there. That landed underneath the window there. I thought that was good as
They
well.
both agree. That's a point.
Maybe at our next break in the action,
score
Dave,
is 9
we can
serves
take a look
9.
at the Nadi Alvarado reverse there, the ace on that last rally, last point.
Dave, we've seen this a lot here in this tournament, especially in the Moreno match between Moreno and Nash. That's a nice shot from Mondo, where the players are hitting the ball really hard right down the middle. Not enough really to make it to the back wall, but right at their opponent's feet. Is that a strategy, or is that just these guys, you know, being lazy in their shots?
No, I think that's a great shot, because if you go for the kill and it's not perfect, it's an easy re-kill opportunity. But when you drive that ball at your opponent's feet and it doesn't come off the back wall, he has nothing to do but just scoop it back.
Speaking of scoops, that's all we've seen here between these two, and Mondo looks really slow there.
Side out.
Mondo's saying he clipped Nadi's foot there.
Okay, I didn't see it. Your call. It's okay.
That's why Mondo was so slow. Nadi does not complain because he does know that he tripped him up. That's what happens. Both of these players playing across each other's bodies, back and forth. I thought Nadi could have argued that, but I guess there's no arguing contact sometimes.
Great shot. Mondo's got to keep that serve off the back wall. Land the ball a little bit closer to the short line.
9 serves 9. Short.
Dave, what a difference between the last time we watched Nadi Alvarado on the webcast when he lost to Luis Moreno 21-1, 21-2 at the Players' Championship. We thought that was going to be his last pro match. There was talk of that. And not only wasn't it, but he's come back and looks as good as he did at any point in last season right now.
Well, Nadi says that he attributes Nadi says he attributes all of that to you know, playing big ball over the summer. In fact, let's cue up that interview if we can. Nadi talks about,
I didn't think that skipped, Dave.
At returning at the age of 40.
9 serves 10.
We'll have our director tell us when he finds that. Oh, that's a huge overhit. Mondo does not make him pay. And there was a side out.
Serves 9. White. Check the ball, please.
Is the score now 11-9, Dave? Wow.
Not seeing the same Mondo, Dave, that we saw last year in Salt Lake City.
11 serves 9.
Doesn't seem to have that extra gear. He doesn't have the zip on the ball that we're accustomed to seeing. And Nadi is just taking advantage now. Playing very much within himself, Nadi Alvarado.
Well, one of the things I can see from Nadi is he does make a lot of errors, but he's not making them here.
12 serves 9.
I know you have the stats for that, Dave, but
Short. Second serve.
this is game number 2. That ball was short.
Right out.
And you know, Dave, we think of Nadi Alvarado making a lot of errors, but if you look at his match against me at Salt Lake City, which was a 3-game match, he only made 14 errors in 3 games. Now that's only 4 errors a game. It's not a lot of errors.
We'll ask our director, Chris Garrad, to queue up in the Nadi Alvarado interview question number 5. What keeps you from...
Mondo plays that perfectly, a wide corner kill.
Serves 12.
That could have been short.
I think that'll be appealed.
Point.
And Mondo is obviously not going to turn around. Nadi you thought would, but isn't.
Yeah.
You know, these guys can see better than we can sometimes, Dave, and they, you know, you see that it's good, you just don't appeal it.
11 serves 12. Replay.
Terrible error from Nadi. I think he was trying to go down the right there with a power pass and just completely shanked it.
Serves 12.
Both of these guys going to the roof 2 times in a row. Mondo tried to for the 3rd time and then missed it. This is rare to see 2 shooters go up there like that. First mistake, Nadi makes it. Mondo gets it. There's 2 bounces. Nadi calls it. And Mondo gets the point, now tied at 12.
That was the longest and best rally of this second game thus far, and you'll see Nadi milk a little bit of extra time here. Dave, I'm thinking that we're going to see about a 1-minute break here.
Are you going to time this?
Yeah.
Okay.
We do, Dave, keep track of the stalls. Nadi Alvarado only stalled 5 minutes in Salt Lake City in his tiebreaker match.
Only?
Well, that's including timeouts. 5 minutes of towel timeouts and calling timeouts is not a lot of time. I mean, when you throw your bag in the trash after you lose a game, it takes you 5 minutes to get to the bottom and get your eye guards back. So
it's true.
5 minutes is really
I never
nothing.
go back to get it though, so that doesn't pertain to me. When I throw it away, it's away. One time I left my wallet in there with $200. I just left it. Said, you know what? I deserve this.
12, serves 12.
And Dave, that was exactly 1 minute on that floor timeout.
Second serve. Tie it out. Serves 12.
We're all together at 12 here. Nadi Alvarado losing the first game, 21-18. Mondo now up here in game number 2. Excuse me. He's now serving here at game number 2.
12 serves 12. Point.
Mondo put a fist pump out there because he knew that Nadi wasn't going to return that serve.
13 serves 12.
And then all of a sudden, Mondo realized that the ball isn't, I can't see the ball, so he must have hit it.
Second serve.
So Mondo had the fist pump. Then he had to look to the front wall really quickly like a cat, trying to see if maybe that ball might have made it. And it
Point.
falls short of the front wall. Now a couple straight points here for Mondo Ortiz.
Serves 12. Point. Timeout. Timeout, Alvarado.
Veteran move from Alvarado there.
1 minute.
He stalls even longer, then calls the timeout. Not sure if our stat keepers, Dave, kept track of that sort of stuff, but you know, before a timeout, these guys will engage in a conversation with the referee or ask for a towel and then call a timeout, so they get even more time. Nadi Alvarado down by 3 against Mondo Ortiz. It's the WPH Race for 8 Simple Green U.S. Open of Handball. Great family tradition here in Southern California, where the players have all converged onto really one of the best handball facilities there is. Outdoor 3-wall, outdoor 1-wall, indoor 4-wall, women's, juniors, pros, age division, amateur classes, all wrapped up into one tournament. Over 320 handball players from around the world. I believe there's 4 foreign countries, or 4 countries, 37 states or counties involved in this. And they've all flown in to try to win some type of either cash or trophy or ranking points, or just to get away from their own family. Sometimes everyone's got their own reasons. No, I certainly wouldn't be an advocate for flying to get away from your own family. I mean,
Resuming play, Armando serving. The score is 15, plays 12.
score there from the referee is given out, and now they're back into play at 15 to 12.
Second serve. Side out.
Now the Alvarado back in. Game of streaks here between Alvarado and Mondo Ortiz. Ortiz jumps out to an 8-1 lead. Mondo finds Nadi come back to 8-4, and then Nadi comes up and ties it at 9, and now Mondo goes up to 12. Nadi ties it at 12.
Second serve.
Now Mondo at 15. We'll see if Alvarado will catch up to this score. Wow, that's really a nice shot there from Mondo. Inside out, back down the right wall. Perfect shot from Ortiz. Dave, why is it that this game is about momentums and your own brain? You know, Mondo comes in there, he looks really sharp to start game number 1. And then at times it looks like he just loses interest.
Well, I wouldn't say it's a loss of interest, but, you know, both these players and most players in handball feed off their serve, and when you get in that service box and get comfortable hitting good serves, the rest of your game seems to flow. And, you know, these are the best players in the world, but they can't make perfect shots during every rally. And Nadi right now, not a smart return of serve there. Mondo with a big setup. Buries it with his left hand. Now that's the vintage Ortiz. Nadi did well to return that serve, Dave, but a perfect serve and then an even better second shot. First strike kill from Mondo, a left-handed mouse cross court. Incredible shot.
18, serve 12.
We'll ask our director, Chris Garrad, to turn off our center microphone in the booth here. And there's a replay quickly called from the referee. Now, we've seen that a few times.
No.
We've seen that a few times in the first game. A very quick call from Danny Bell. That's another one of those that would be, in retrospect, probably the wrong call.
Mondo does not even look up.
Well, what are you going to do? The referee's not going to overturn his own call.
You have to lay the groundwork for the next one.
18, serve 12.
Okay.
Why do you think the manager comes out to argue balls and strikes? He's not going to get that ball reversed.
Oh, I thought that's because he met somebody at the bar the previous night and he wanted to get out of the clubhouse early.
The winner of this, Dave, will face WPH #1 Luis Moreno.
That's true. Alvarado loses the first one 21-18, but he's been in this spot before with Mondo and he keeps fighting back. Very frustrating when the player, you know, you execute the right shot, you feel like you put it in the right position, your opponent's in the wrong spot, and then all of a sudden it slides and you have to do it over. You played chess to the point where you made everything perfect and then the wind blows over all the pieces and you have to start over. There's another nice point. Nadi earlier was having these amazing first serves, and if he didn't get that first serve into elite status, his first strike was amazing and he was, you know, rolling.
Well, he'll need to play near flawless handball here if he's going to come back and win this second game. Does not have much margin for error.
Another nice first strike. Thought we would see Ortiz call a timeout, but he doesn't. 2 quick points now for Alvarado at 14-18. And this looks strikingly similar to what happened in the first game.
14, serves 18.
Nadi all of a sudden calms down and gets that first strike to work.
Short.
I like that move from Nadi. He hits a 3-foot short ball shows everybody that he's mad at himself when he's really not. Walks up to the front wall. The ball's hit back to him so he can get back in the service box. He turns the opposite way. The ball rolls all the way to the front wall, and it's all part of, you know, gathering another 15 seconds. And he does it so brilliantly that we could play this exact clip from all the other years and just blur out Mondo and put in whoever, or vice versa.
Replay, check it.
Another great veteran move there. Mondo Ortiz 18, Nadia Alvarado 14. This is a quarterfinal match at the Simple Green U.S. Open of handball.
Mondo just a little bit off balance there. Didn't get quite enough push off his left leg. And fortunately for Nadia Alvarado, comes up an inch short.
14-18.
Dave, what was the feeling like the first time you defeated Nadia Alvarado?
You know, it felt amazing. Unfortunately, I've lost every other match to him, including the subsequent ones.
Before and since?
It was a strange match, I thought, because the first game he just played so poorly, you know, that I didn't really have to do anything, and then he still was playing poorly in game two, and then, you know, started to pick up his game, took a 19-14 lead, and then I just, you know, got on a roll and scored 7 points in a row. So, yeah, amazing feeling.
But of all the top players, I know defeating Dave Chapman was important to you. Where do you rank the Nadia Alvarado win? Right near the top?
Well, by virtue of it being Nadia Alvarado, yeah, but, you know, I didn't feel like I played all that well. I felt like he just played a terrible match.
Wow, that's
so
a nice serve there.
I didn't take as much satisfaction from that win as I did some others, even though Nadia is one of the greats.
15-18.
You can imagine what type of high Mondo Ortiz would be on after taking down Paul Brady last year at the Players' Championship.
Second serve.
That's sort of one of those lifetime highs where I don't know if it ever goes away. It's sort of it's a trophy that's on your mantle. That was a great serve right there. It's kind of a trophy that stays there forever, but you never got a trophy because you didn't win the next round after that. So you didn't really get anything, but you have that memory of doing it, and that one's never going to go away. 16-18 now. Alvarado fighting back, fighting to stay in. He's doing it on great serves and cool first strikes. That's where Nadia had to hit an elite shot right there, and he just missed it.
18, serve 16. Short. Appeal, I call the ball short. They both agree. You have one serve coming.
Mondo 3 points from his first ever Simple Green U.S. Open semifinal. And that's not what he needed there, double fault.
Serves 18. Point.
I feel like there's more pressure now, Dave, on Mondo. He's 3 points from the match. Nadia really has nothing to lose at this point. He lost the first game. He's on a big comeback right now. He's got all the momentum. He scored 5 consecutive points. When I thought this match was just about over, now Mondo's got to be feeling the tension. Can't see how he wouldn't. You saw a sloppy return of serve error there, and now a headband change.
Headband. Okay, make it quick.
That should only be 30 seconds here.
But in the rule book, it's 2 minutes. I'm just reporting, not saying it should be.
Well, it doesn't take 2 minutes to change a headband. I mean, I can tell you that right now. But what one player once said to me was, well, it's completely wet, so I have to take my gloves off to do it. And if a glove change is 2 minutes just to get your gloves on and off, then it's the same process. I have to take my gloves off, then I take this off, then I put the new one on, then I have to put my gloves back on.
I think Nadi could have milked that for a little bit more time, but he knows he's on a roll here. He's feeling good. There's no need to take any break, and now a little bit more stalling.
Well, Nadi was just a couple inches away right there from having a tied score here at 18. You know, these are the ones that Nadi's going to look back at and say, I have opportunities with him standing in that spot, and that's the ball I hit. I think Nadi already knows it, but I mean, it has to be frustrating because you look back and say, I've got Mondo out of position here.
Yeah, glove change.
And another 2-minute glove change. We're going to take a break. We'll be back. 2 minutes. Stick around. More action here at racefor8.com coming up.
Working and working out takes a lot of energy. That's why I drink Zenergy. Feeling fantastic and looking good has never been easier. Science, extreme science for your active lifestyle.
My life is full of statistics. Thing is, I could have dropped out of school and become one myself, but I didn't because I had people that believed in me. Here's another statistic. 7,000 students drop out every school day. That's one every 26 seconds. It's time that students know that we believe in them.
Inspire a student and share your message of support at boostup.org.
Listen now, can you hear the bluebirds? Oh, look up now, can you feel the sun? Whoa, 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 whoa. Can you feel the sun?
Back at Los Caballeros Sports Village, Fountain Valley, California. Game number 2 after a 2-minute glove change between Nadi Alvarado and Mondo Ortiz. Mondo wins the first one, 21-18, and then here we find Alvarado fighting back. Score is 18-17, Mondo serving.
It's interesting, Dave, because Mondo left the court area, walked all the way outside past our booth and another 50 feet to buy a pair of gloves. I know that you noticed that.
Yeah,
so he did not have another pair of gloves apparently in his bag next to the court. So that wasn't really a timeout for him. He had to walk, I'd say, 150 feet back and forth, buy a new pair.
Well, I was more, thinking that the interesting thing was the expletive that he said to us as he went by.
I didn't hear that.
Well, we're on the internet, so I probably could get by with it, but it seemed like he was directing that expletive toward, I think, you, actually. I know it couldn't have been me.
No.
Second serve.
Very well liked.
Well, it was a one-word expletive.
Replay.
And oddly, it was apropos.
If Nadi would have stayed there, Dave, that ball would have floated back to the front wall and given Nadi a huge setup, but he moved just as Mondo was hitting, expecting to throw it cross court.
Well, that ball hits Mondo in the back of the head.
And I believe that's 3 straight replays, Dave, since that 2-minute glove change.
Record 7. So we're not even halfway there yet.
Love to see the film of that record taking place.
Me too. Unfortunately, it was a qualifier match on a dark court. If you know what I mean.
I don't.
That's one that's not televised.
Oh, dark match, yeah.
Yeah. Just, it's in my mental trophy case. My mental trophy case.
Who was playing in that match?
Well, I knew you'd say that.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let's wait for the serve.
Yeah. Oh, terrible serve, and Nadi does not let the ball drop.
Boy, Nadi extends himself on that one, and then Mondo hits it in the ground. Nadi back in the server's box.
Mondo needs to take an extra half a step there. He reached for that fly kill, Dave, and he paid the price for it. He missed that by 4 feet. He needs to shuffle his feet about a half a step forward there. Cannot end rallies against great players reaching for the ball. Oh, what a serve, Dave.
That's unreal.
A double bouncer when he needed it most. Ties the score now at 18. 6 consecutive points for Nadi Alvarado, Dave. It's been 22 minutes since Mondo Ortiz scored a point. Think about that, Dave.
It's a long time.
Yeah. And another double bouncer, Dave. Mondo is now nervous. When you get nervous, Dave, your feet stop moving. And that's what's happened here for Mondo. This would be a huge comeback for Nadi Alvarado.
Now it's at 19-18. Nadi just seems to be able to do this sort of thing on this court. These late game runs.
Well, Dave, you remember in Salt Lake City, Nadi trailed 7-3 in the tiebreaker, rattled off 8 straight points. Who would you rather be here, Dave? I know I asked you this a lot. Serving at 18-19 or receiving?
I'd rather be serving. If I had Mondo's serve, yes.
But Mondo's serve has been wild here, particularly in this second game. He's hit a lot of back wall setups, even a double fault.
Well, there's a little congestion there.
Dave, I think Mondo's tired now. It just doesn't seem like he has a lot of leg strength. He's not moving well, and he's not getting down as low as he usually does to shoot the ball. And once your legs go, Dave, it's pretty much over. The only thing you can hope for at that point is for your opponent's legs to also go.
What's on the line? Short. I called it short. They both agree.
Dave, Paul Brady gives the fist pump when he hits a short serve ace. Nadi gives the no in the walk towards the front wall.
That's true.
Oh, Mondo gets very fortunate there. He fought that ball off, Dave. It came into his body, just sort of shoveled it front wall, side wall, and it just died. Let's mark our scorecards there, Dave. I believe that's a huge turning point.
18 serves 19.
Oh, nice shot. Nadi gets it, though. And Mondo hits it in the ground. That's a second one we've seen here after Mondo got up to 18.
And now, Dave, I believe we'll see at least a 1-minute break here on a towel timeout.
And now it looks like you're erasing that circle that you put on that scorecard.
No. The circle's
still there?
It's there because
even after a play like that?
Well, that's another circle. That's just, it's
Okay.
2 circles and 2 circles.
Well, it seems like you
cancel
have to
each other
erase
out.
that previous circle because it doesn't mean anything anymore.
Well, that's one way to do it, but if you add a circle, then it cancels it out.
Okay.
I actually add a square there. A square
So
is a bogey.
your pencil has no eraser.
Well, a square is a bogey.
Okay.
You know, so that he made a birdie and then a bogey, so we're back to even par. And Dave Nottie still milking this timeout. We're at 45 seconds now.
Serves 18.
So Nottie gets 50 seconds out of that. Great shot from Mondo. Played that point very well. Patient. He won it with a pass straight down the wall. 27 minutes now since Mondo Ortiz scored his last point.
18 serves 19.
It sounds like you're trying to get Mondo to score a point here with your reverse announcerisms. Oof, and another one in the ground from Mondo Ortiz. He may never score again.
You know, Mondo has the perfect build, I believe, Dave, for handball. He's about 5'5". He's, you know, got the low center of gravity, but he's not using that to his advantage now. He's just standing straight up trying to kill the ball with his left hand. It's not working.
That's kind of a sign that his legs are a little bit weak, that he is getting stoved up.
Well, you know, Dave, Mondo hasn't competed in a tournament. It's been a long time for him. He didn't play in Plummer. He did play in Toledo with a bad arm. And there's a broken ball. And Dave, I believe we'll see well over a minute to get this new ball warmed up.
He did play in Toledo with a broken. Since we're speaking that it will be a minute or so, we actually were in Idaho. We sat down with Nadi Alvarado and we asked him, what keeps you from retiring at the age of 40? And this is what he had to say.
A long answer, but I'll do the short version. This summer, my dad's court went up, and one sport that I thought I would really never get into or want to play was big ball. So we played a lot of big ball in the summer, and it seems like we were playing 2 or 3 times a week in the heat, and it was just awesome. But the more I played, it seemed like it rekindled this, you know, that flame that we all have down deep inside to compete. And I was just getting fitter. I was going to the gym more often because that's a hard game to play on concrete. So I was trying to do all these preventive measures so I could play that game. And then in the middle of that, I got a Fitbit. It's really corny. The Fitbit just gauges how many steps you take throughout the day. And John and Billy and a lot of the family members had it. And then we got into this little group deal and we got very competitive with it. And so we were all, you know, chiming in on that. So just had a really good summer after the Salt Lake event where I thought I was completely done with professional handball. I just felt better, felt stronger, and I just got motivated again. It just seemed like it was, you know, if you would have this question yesterday, I'd be like, I'm ready to retire again because I'm not playing well. But like I just said, you know, there's going to be good days and bad days. I just have to figure out how to muck it out in the bad days and relish in the good days.
Wow. And there it is, Mondo Ortiz losing to Nadi Alvarado in game number 2 here, 21-18. And as Nadi talks about there, you know, as you get older, sometimes there's these days where you just feel like you're a young guy, and then there's days that you just feel like you're an old guy. And I think Nadi has felt some of that already in this tournament. He's felt old and then young again, and playing a guy like Mondo Ortiz, he's come back to get that second game win. This is really, you know, a big time thing that just happened right here on this court as he forces him to go into this tiebreaker.
Well, Dave, Nadi Alvarado down 18-12 in that second game after losing a very close first game. It looked like the writing was on the wall. Then he holds off Mondo Ortiz from even scoring one more point for 29 minutes. So 29 minutes and counting since Mondo Ortiz has scored. During that time, Dave, he made 8 errors. 6 of them were just unthinkable. I mean, setups that he had at the short line or closer, and he put them into the ground. I think that's nerves, and I think it's also a bit of fatigue. And I think you have to weigh in, Dave, that Nadi Alvarado factor. This is the guy that he's looked up to. He's only beat him once. He's lost to him at least 5 times. So in the back of his mind, he's thinking to himself, can I beat this guy? I mean, when he beat him, Dave, not to take anything away from Mondo, but Nadi arrived at Plummer with the flu, you remember last year. Nadi won't make excuses, but we knew he was sick. It wasn't the real Nadi Alvarado that we're used to seeing. So maybe Mondo's saying to himself, well, I beat him, but, you know, he was sick. You know, so Mondo now, Dave, is going to have to regroup and draw on that experience he had last year in Salt Lake, beating Paul Brady, and pretty much self-talk himself into some momentum, because clearly the momentum is all with the Alvarado side, and Alvarado's got the crowd on his side. He's got his dad here, who's the greatest player of all time, in his ear. That's a lot going against Mondo Ortiz right now, and of course Nadi is 15 years older, but he's got the momentum. He only has to score 11 points to advance to the semifinals.
And we're going to find out what that victor will be, who that victor will be, and who's going to get to the 11th point first, with game number 3 coming up in about 3 minutes. Stick around. We'll have more action for Dave Fink, Dave Vincent here at racefor8.com.
Get a remarkable clean with non-toxic and biodegradable Simple Green All-Purpose Cleaner. Use straight from the bottle on heavy grime, or dilute the concentrated formula to make up to 44 bottles of daily cleaner. Safe for all washable surfaces, Simple Green can be used indoors and out. From kitchens and bathrooms to living and play areas, countertops and floors to furniture and clothing. Keep your home and our world clean with Simple Green.
Are you getting this, honey?
Oh, prime time. We are rolling.
All right, Mama's gonna bring it home. Mama's gonna bring it home. Okay.
Come on, watch this guy.
Oh, backwards.
Oh, don't. Oh.
It went into Bob and Carol's yard. Oh, no? Okay, here it comes.
Oh, Mom!
Challenge your kids to be active and eat healthy.
All right, let's see what you can do. Let's go.
They might surprise you. Search We Can for more ideas on how you and your kids can get healthy together.
Rethink what you know about this Vegas icon. Elevate your expectations at the Stratosphere Hotel, Casino, and Tower. See what's new, up, down, and all around.
Working and working out takes a lot of energy. That's why I drink Zenergy. Feeling fantastic and looking good has never been easier. Science, extreme science for your active lifestyle.
Get ready for your next barbecue with the Southland's most delicious smoked sausages. I'm Rachel Serrato from Far West Meats. My family has provided quality, delicious meats locally for over 90 years. At Far West Meats, we take pride in serving a mouth-watering variety of smoked sausages, including beef, chicken, and Louisiana hot or mild, and our new products like Red Hots and Chicken Chorizo. Please find Far West Meats products at your local supermarkets, including Albertsons, Smart & Final, Stater Brothers, Superior, Gardinas, Walmart, Food for Less, and Winco.
Far West Meats is proud to be participating in the Simple Greens U.S. Open of Handball, as we have been a part of the Southern California handball community for over 40 years.
We are back at the Simple Green U.S. Open of Handball, where Nadi Alvarado has just done what he's been able to do for so many years, and that is fight back and force tiebreakers. One of the most consistent handball pros that we've ever seen. And are we getting a coin toss here for the tiebreaker, Dave?
Both guys scored 18 in their games lost. And this could be a huge coin flip here, Dave, with servers like this.
Well, Nadi's clearly got the momentum here as the server, and it looks like he's going to be the first one in. And this is where that veteran experience can come in handy.
Dave, I know that you're huge on time, so I want to say that the last time Mondo Ortiz scored was 11:05 Pacific Standard Time. It's now 11:39.
I am particular about time, yes, but I don't know if that stat makes my radar go off much.
Nadi Alvarado in the sleeveless WPH jersey there. Mondo Ortiz serving first here. He won the coin toss.
0, serve 0.
Looks like you're right. And there's the salute to Guadalupe from Mondo Ortiz before the serve. That ball reverses from Nadi down the middle.
Replay. It happened too fast.
Nadi did very well to return that serve. That was a great serve from Mondo. I thought that was going to be an ace. Nadi not only returned it, but put it in a tough spot. Mondo couldn't do anything with the return.
Well, Nadi somehow is able to reverse that ball down the middle as the ball hops away and kind of fools Mondo. And then Nadi stands in Mondo's way and gets a replay call. I think that was even more of the magician's work. And there's a first point going to 11 from Mondo Ortiz.
Well, that's why I said that coin flip would be so big, Dave. Mondo Ortiz came in there and got off the schneid, as they say.
Point. Two, 0. Short.
As a player, Dave, you think to yourself, where were those 2 easy points when I was up 18-12? I couldn't score 1. And then all of a sudden you come in the tiebreaker and, you know.
Well, oddly enough, Dave, it's happened so much, you know, in our careers where you seem to yourself maybe in a previous game, I don't think I'll ever score again. And then you come out after the game's over and all of a sudden you're up 8 or 9-0 and you go, how come I couldn't do this? That's why the game is so mental. You can get into your own head and talk yourself out of making good plays, where I believe visualization does work in handball. Sometimes you're serving, you say, I can't visualize myself ever scoring against this guy.
Great shot from Nadi.
And you see fans all the time wonder why Nadi and some of the older guys are stalling so much. It's because they're trying to tap into that, get that negative energy out of their head and reset the action by slowing the game down and, you know,
0, serve 3.
trying to get more clear thoughts. 0-3.
Short. Second serve. No, slid. The ball slid. Check it.
Only one of us in this booth.
Zero serves 3.
Big setup here for Nadi.
Point.
I like that, using the sidewall to deaden that ball. Nadi gets his first point here, game number 3, going to 11.
One serves 3. Short.
We're having some problems with our microphones there, but I think that we've got that under control now.
Second serve.
Apologize.
Point.
That's a nice wide corner kill from Alvarado, now at 2-3.
Nadi knows how to change the angle of his corner kills based on his opponent's court positioning. I think he does that as well as anyone in the game.
2 serves 3. Point.
Ooh, and a missed ceiling shot. You'd think there'd be a timeout call here from Ortiz after 3 straight points and very quick points from Alvarado.
3 serves 3.
One huge error from Mondo.
Short.
Oh, that ball's so close. That was almost the 4th point, Dave. Perfect crack serve right there at the short line, but it was just slightly short.
Second serve.
Alvarado totally fools Mondo, who jumped to the left and then had to run to the right, and a swing and a miss. Now you hear Lupe yelling from the audience.
4, serve 3.
Nadi's sister, John Bike's wife. Nadi Alvarado Sr.'s daughter.
Tied out.
Nadi gets rolling and then he makes a hand error, but
That
you
was
have
a
to give
forced
credit.
error.
Yeah, you have to give credit to Mondo there, who hopped that ball away.
3 serves 4. Point.
3 of Mondo's 4 points in this tiebreaker have been on unreturned serves.
4 serves 4.
Very good shot from Mondo.
Point.
Mondo takes a pretty good lead. Nadi comes back and ties it. Mondo now gets 2 more points. Every time one of these guys goes on one of these runs, you say, well, there's no way the other guy could win. And then it's quickly evaporated.
5 serves 4.
Handcuffed is Nadi, puts it in a pretty good position. Now he's set up for a shot down the right wall. Mondo's still in it.
Dave, after over 2 hours of court time, these guys are separated by just 1 point.
Oh,
Nadi with
like
a pre-dive.
Tied out.
It was a pre-dive, but he also went over the top. Even hits a reverse when he's diving for balls. You'll see the replay of this, and if it's in super slow-mo, you'll see when Nadi hits this ball, he actually hits it and goes over the top of the ball to keep it down. Not just an athlete, but a methodical one at that. Here it is, Dave. Watch how Nadi dives and goes over the top of this ball just to try to keep that ball down.
Surprised Mondo actually didn't get to that. That was a couple feet high. It wasn't hit hard. Mondo just slow out of the box there.
Well, you know, the pace to that point between the two players were 75 miles an hour, 77, 72, 75, and all of a sudden 48. Just that pace was.
That pre-dive was 48?
No, I'm just saying it. You know, that's. I wasn't giving you official scores. I'm just saying it was. You know, a little bit more than half, maybe less than that, of the pace that you've been seeing, and all of a sudden you just kind of feet buckle your knees, and then Mondo's going to appeal a serve.
You're right. The wall slide.
That's rough, Dave. Perfect serve down the right. Mondo hits a return kill.
I saw it slide too. It did something funny.
Well,
and then it's a slide call that Nadi said happened to Mondo.
Serves 5.
And the referee agreed to it after Mondo hit a flat rollout on the return.
Short.
That was an appeal on the slide before Mondo hit it. So Nadi said, no, that slid before he hit it. So
second serve.
now Mondo said, excuse me, the referee said to Mondo, you can appeal this, but Mondo doesn't appeal it. And I think it could get overturned by the referee's line judges.
Tied out.
And Dave, that's that bad habit Nadi has. He tries to hit the stiff arm left into the right corner. I've never seen him pull that shot off, but yet he always tries it at least once a game.
That's one of those things that you're probably successful at in practice, and then you think it's going to carry over to a game, and you just can't execute it there. You know, you get tighter in a game. In practice, you're loose, and it takes a loose elbow to pull that off. In fact, you almost have to be so loose, it makes you wonder how Dave Chapman was able to do all that.
Well, I don't even know if anyone's ever been able to consistently make that shot. I mean, it's really an impossible shot.
Second serve.
Dave, you remember in the old days when Mondo was a young guy. Dave, you remember in the old days when Mondo was a young guy, he would come into this broadcast booth and just stare at the cameras like he wanted to be on TV so bad.
4 serves 5.
You know, he would just look at the viewfinder and just, you know, he was just fascinated with the equipment. Now he's actually on the live broadcast.
Oh, he's been on the live broadcast since 2008.
He was a young guy back then, but he wanted more TV time.
More, okay.
Agree?
Now he's actually getting it.
One agree, one didn't see it. That's a point. The score is 5 serves 5. Point.
Wow, what a serve from Nadi, Dave.
That was a great serve.
I mean, you just can't handle that. The ball is not coming off the back wall. You've got to play it off the bounce, and it hops just a foot in front of you, 2 feet.
Wow, he does it again.
Nadi saw Mondo coming in there trying to take away the corners, so he just blasted it right past Mondo. And now Mondo's got to be thinking,
what's going on?
Yeah, I was 3 points from this match an hour ago. Now I'm 4 points from being out of this match.
The score is 7-5, 1 minute.
And the gallery is really quiet here. And that could be because Nadi is, you know, some people think this is his home club, although it's not. But, you know.
How big would this win be for Nadi Alvarado, Dave? He's been to the semifinals and finals here at this U.S. Open, but to beat a guy like Mondo Ortiz, who a lot of people have projected could finish this season at number 1. Nadi Alvarado 3 months ago wasn't even planning on playing this season, and he's doing this now to a guy that just beat Paul Brady in his last start. Truly remarkable.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I don't know what to say about it, because you and I know how, you know, we just know the circumstances involving Nadi right now, and that you would think this would be about as big as any type of win he's ever had if he were able to get these last few points. But at the end of his career, he'll probably never remember this one if he does win. But to this point, it's very important. He did not play, you know, too well, I didn't feel, over at the Jake Plummer event a couple weeks back, and it looked like he was old. But now all of a sudden, he just keeps doing what he does. He plugs away, and this is why he gets those consistent finishes over his whole career. 22-year career where he's resided in the finals and semifinals of pretty much 90% or more of every tournament he's ever played in. He's trying to go to the semis again. Overhit that serve, and Mondo made him pay for it.
Great shot there from Mondo. Remember, Mondo led 3-0 here in this tiebreaker before Nadi even got into the box. Since then, Dave, Nadi's outscored Mondo 7-2. Those numbers don't mean a lot when you're only going to 11. Of course, we say Nadi is 4 points from winning this match. Mondo's only 6.
Coming up after this one will be Paul Brady, the #1 player in the world, going up against Luis Cordova. Oh, I like that shot from Nadi. He had Mondo just twisted enough that Nadi knew that if I hit this hard enough, Mondo has to turn his whole body around to get to this ball. So he pounded it down the left.
7 serves 5.
Now Alvarado back in the box. 7-5 going to 11.
Short.
After 2 hours and 6 minutes, Dave, Nadi Alvarado has outscored Mondo 46-44. Razor thin difference here.
Second serve.
Oh, I like that. Almost did a double bounce. Slider on that left wall, and Nadi goes to that elite corner, now gets his 8th point.
Dave, I'm seeing Mondo now going to a stiff arm left return, which is not in his repertoire, and that tells me he's nervous. And Dave, when you get nervous, that elbow locks up, and you just try and float that ball back into the court and hope that your opponent misses. You're not going to beat Nadi Alvarado hoping that he's going to miss. He's not going to miss now.
Oh, he just missed getting that over the short line, though.
Let's see what he goes for here on the second serve, Dave, because he did double fault last game. He definitely does not want to double fault here.
And sometimes that's in your head, and you overhit your second serve because you say, I did this strikingly similar last time. Oh, I like that serve, man. That was one of the best of the tournament so far for Nadi.
Oh, it was a great serve, but Dave, you see how Mondo just jams himself. He doesn't move his feet. That ball hits the sidewall. He's got to step out to his left so he can extend and swing. Instead, he just tries to flip it with an underhand paddle. I mean, you can't do anything. Even if he would have returned that, would have been a huge setup.
I took it that Nadi's ball checked into that wall more and came out, but maybe you're right. A foot movement definitely would have cured both of those. And there's a slider. No. Nadi now scoring the 10th point here. 10-5, Nadi Alvarado here in the tiebreaker.
10, possible game in match point, serves 5.
Wow, this could be big, and we could hear an eruption from the crowd.
Short.
If he takes down Mondo.
We've seen Nadi just completely in control of his emotions throughout this entire match.
And there it is. There's emotion there. You were wondering how important it would be to Nadi Alvarado. Look how important it is to him. Nadi Alvarado taking down Mondo Ortiz 11-5 here. And the referee said it best. And Nadi staying on the court here as if he just won this tournament. That's a huge win for Nadi Alvarado as he now goes into the semifinals, and a lot of emotion from El Tigre, who gets out there and hugs Chris Watkins, his life coach, his sister. Lupita gives him a nice little kiss, and he's saying, yeah, you know, I did it. That's what I came here to do.
Well, you know, that was a treat, Dave, of Nadi Alvarado turning back the clock. I mean, we say that, but it seems like he's never not on the clock. I mean, he's always playing great handball, but Dave, to rally from 18-12 down in that second game, I mean, he was just literally seconds away from being eliminated from this tournament. He turns the tables, holds Mondo from scoring for over 35 minutes, falls behind 3-0 in the tiebreaker, and then comes back and just dominates, outscoring Mondo 11-2. So a tremendous victory, Dave, there for Nadi Alvarado, and he'll be featured tomorrow against the WPH Race Freight #1 Luis Moreno. They've had a history together, Dave, and we'll talk about that a lot tomorrow, but at first it was Nadi Alvarado just pretty much owning Luis Moreno in the early goings, and since then it's been all Luis Moreno.
It's a Simple Green U.S. Open of Handball where we've had upsets, we've had amazing play, some sloppy stuff too, but in general it's been entertaining, and we appreciate the fact that you've tuned in. We have the best player in the world, probably one of the best ever, Paul Brady, coming up next. The gunner from Ireland up against Luis Cordova in the round of 8. We'll do that one in about 10 minutes. Stick around for Dave Fink, Chris Garrad, Bruno Mars, Linda Manning, yours truly, Dave Vincent. We'll be back. More action here at racefreight.com right around the corner.